Welcome to Keto Meals and Recipes.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make an extremely easy, no cooking required, full of flavor, healthy avocado and tuna salad with a light lemon vinaigrette. And I'd like to say this is a perfect, complete one bowl meal. And in this recipe you actually get a very generous serving, not a small side dish quantity, so it's also very satiating. As a result, this can be served as a low-carb, low-calorie lunch or part of a nutrient-dense dinner. I'd like to point out that this is a very different type of recipe than my classic tuna salad, which I would use to make a sandwich or a tuna melt with, even though the name of the recipe sounds the same. Now for the macronutrient ratio for this healthy avocado and tuna salad, which is 1.2 to 1, with 11.2 grams of total carbs, 5.2 grams of dietary fiber, resulting in 6 grams of net carbs. If you're thinking, hey, wait a tick, there are 11.2 grams of total carbs, please keep watching right to the end, because I will explain how and why the avocados are the main contributor to total carbs, and why in this instance these carbs are nothing to worry about. I have found by watching other videos that many people don't really understand avocados very well, especially as they apply to a low carb or a keto diet. Yes, avocados are full of healthy fats, but you have to be aware of their carbs and the fiber and how that would affect your personal situation. Now let's begin with the recipe. As always, I always prepare my ingredients, and the first thing I did is I drained my 2 cans of skipjack tuna, which is packed in water, not oil, because most tuna is not packed in healthy oils. For your information, if you want to know more about which type of tuna is healthiest and why, please watch my keto tuna salad video, at the end of which I have a mini tutorial on the difference between white or albacore tuna and why I prefer skipjack or yellowfin tuna for my recipes. I will provide a link in the description below for the keto tuna video, as well as other videos I will mention later on. As well, if you go down to the description section, I will provide a link for the written and translatable recipe for this healthy avocado tuna salad with the light lemon vinaigrette. These are all the announcements, so let's get back to making the recipe. As you can see on this table, I have assembled all the ingredients. Except for the canned tuna, all the ingredients are raw and whole food. And these ingredients are very nutrient dense and healthy for you, especially if you can find them grown locally. Okay, I'm now going to prepare my salad ingredients. To make my pieces even and very small, this is how I go about cutting it. First, I make thin horizontal cuts. And in doing so, I don't cut all the way to the end where the root is, because I want my onion slices to hold together. Then I rotate and make thin vertical sections about the same thickness as my horizontal cuts, and I follow the curve of the onion. And finally, I slice down from top to bottom, and that's all you have to do to get perfect, even sliced little pieces of onion. Now I'm going to get the cherry tomatoes and simply cut them in halves. However, if you don't want to use cherry tomatoes, you can substitute with either Roma tomatoes or beefsteak tomatoes, whichever one you prefer. But you do have to cut these larger tomatoes into small cubes. Preparing the English cucumber is quite easy. Begin by slicing it in half along its length. Then place the flat side of the cucumber down on your cutting board and cut thin slices as I'm doing here. For this salad, you don't need a lot of cucumbers, because these thinly sliced pieces will be well distributed throughout the salad. The next ingredient to prepare is the fresh cilantro. When using cilantro, make sure that you always rinse it well and then pat it dry. I also want to mention I take the top leaves only and remove any long, hard stems. Then gather your cilantro and roll it into a tight little tube shape, and then cut along the length of the cilantro. Having done that, gather your leaves and give the bigger ones a few more chops. And that's all you have to do to prep your cilantro. Now for the avocado. I know that there's many different ways to prepare your avocado, but I have found that the easiest way to cube my avocado, and the way that I prefer, is to cut the avocado in half, remove the pit, then while each half is in the shell, I make several deep and lengthwise cuts, and then make several cuts that are the same width as your lengthwise ones, but are perpendicular to them. I find this the easiest way to cube my avocados. And finally, to scoop out the cubes, simply use a spoon. Dig into the inside of the shell and press a bit hard against the shell. This will scoop out the cubes nice and cleanly. And then repeat this process until you've cubed all 4 halves of your avocados. Do let me know if this is how you do it and if you find this method easy. Just one more thing about the avocados. For this salad, you do want bigger size cubes. My cubes were about 2 centimeters or 0.8 of an inch squares. And the last prep step I do before making the salad is I prepare my salad dressing or vinaigrette. To my measuring cup, I add the olive oil. However, you can also substitute the olive oil with avocado oil if you prefer. Then I add my freshly squeezed lemon juice. And by the way, this lemon juice is really important because it also prevents the avocado from oxidizing and turning brown. Toss in the black pepper and give everything a quick stir. All the prep steps are done now, so it's time to assemble the salad in a bowl. To the salad bowl, I'm going to toss in these ingredients: the sliced English cucumber, the cubed avocados, the diced red onion, the cherry tomato halves, and the chopped cilantro leaves. Now give everything a light toss to combine. Before pouring your vinaigrette on top of the vegetables, give the vinaigrette a good stir. Now pour over the vegetables and toss well to coat everything. I'd like you to notice that it's at this point that you add the tuna chunks, not earlier. I toss the tuna in straight from the can. And while you're doing that, if you notice there are large chunks of tuna, just break them up and make them bite-sized. But don't fray your tuna and make it very small. You do want meaty chunks. And lastly, carefully fold the tuna into the rest of your salad, being careful not to break up the tuna chunks. This amount that I have made is for 2 adult-sized servings, and each serving is a complete meal, which my husband and I are now going to enjoy for our lunch. And to serve, simply portion out into 2 equal amounts. I think you'll agree with me, this salad looks amazing. It's colorful, nutrient dense, and extremely easy to prepare full meal. But if you feel you need a little bit more food, but you could also serve it with other sides or a slice or 2 of bread. I didn't have any on hand today for this video, but this salad is elevated to the next level of deliciousness if you can serve it with one of my 2 walnut bread recipes, either with the walnut bread sandwich bread version or my walnut bread egg-free and dairy-free version. You'll find the combination of the hearty walnut bread taste and the avocado tuna salad are one of the nicest complements and really filling as a meal, either for lunch or light dinner. This is the end of the recipe, and now I'm going to present some of the nutritional information about avocados. I will give you a bit of a history on the origin and development of modern avocados, because I think it's interesting. The avocados, scientific name Persea americana, is a Native American plant which originated in South Central Mexico and Central and South America sometime between 7,000 and 5,000 BC. But it wasn't cultivated until about 750 BC. Evidence for this date came from archaeologists in Peru, which examined avocado seeds found buried with Inca mummies. Archaeologists also found evidence that avocados were cultivated in Mexico as early as 500 BC. And the original name for this fruit was aguacate, I hope I pronounced that well, which is an Aztec word for testicle. and it was named that because of its shape and because the Aztec people believed it was an aphrodisiac. Then in the 16th century, the Spanish conquistadors observed how much the Aztec people loved avocados, and they discovered they really liked them too. They liked them so much that they actually brought a bunch back to Europe, and that's how they were introduced to Europe. But they didn't become popular in the U.S. until about 1871, when Judge R.B. Ord of Santa Barbara successfully imported Mexican avocado trees to grow in California. However, it was not until May 15, 1915, in the posh Alexandria Hotel in Los Angeles, where a cadre of California farmers gathered and discussed what to do about this potential new crop. Initially, it was found that there were about 400 different varieties of avocado plants. Then, after some trial and error of growing different varieties, the California avocado industry developed, and the dominant variety has become the Hess. And lastly, avocados grow all year round. A single California avocado tree can produce between 60 pounds to 200 pounds, or 27.2 to 90.7 kilograms of fresh fruit each year. This is about 150 and up to 500 individual fruits per tree. That's the end of the history lesson, and now to share the nutrition and health benefits. Because for many of us, avocados have become one of our go-to keto and low-carb foods, I thought it's important to share this information. Although there are many variations of avocados, even amongst the same type, their nutritional and caloric information may vary. That's because the soil and the climate affect the nutrient level of each region where the avocados grow. As most of us have come to know and love, avocados are a very healthy food for us, but avocados are not the lowest carbohydrate choice for us, even though they have a tremendous amount of healthy fats. Most of the fat in avocado is monosaturated fatty acids, or MUFAs. It's believed that one of the health benefits is that MUFAs will lower your total cholesterol, especially the bad or LDL cholesterol, and increase your good or HDL cholesterol. Avocados are also a good source of dietary fiber, and it is this fiber content that results in such a high total carb number. Besides the fiber and healthy fats, there are other health benefits of avocados. Avocados are very high in vitamin C, vitamin E, and vitamin B, and important minerals such as potassium and magnesium, which many of us are quite low on. And it's important to note that the high fiber content of avocados helps in the absorption of fat-soluble nutrients such as vitamin A, D, K, and E. And as little as 50 grams, or about 1/3 of a medium avocado, has only 80 calories. And this small quantity contributes 20 vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients, making a serving of heart-healthy avocado a good choice, which helps us meet our needed nutritional requirements. I want you to know that this is information I researched and found on the internet. I want you to know that I'm not a doctor or dietary specialist, so I do urge you to verify information for yourself and consult with your medical or dietary practitioners. I just want to show an example of the kind of articles I use for my research. Here's one of the many scholarly articles I refer to when compiling my research. And here's another article I found and used. And this article was published in a peer-reviewed online journal. And that's the end of this video. I hope you have found this no-cooking meal idea and my discussion about avocados useful. Do leave me a comment and let me know if you would like more easy or no-cook meals, or if you want to leave a suggestion for some future video. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, share it with a friend, or if you're new to my channel or haven't done so, please subscribe, turn on your notification bell to all. I hope to see you next time, and until then, have a wonderful day. Cheers!